Doug and I recently spent 3 weeks in Cape Town, and in this episode we share our favourite things to do and see, from a cookery class in someone's kitchen to a day out to Cape Point and the penguins at Borders Beach. The things that made our trip to help you plan yours.
Welcome to the Global Travel Planning Podcast. Your host is founder of the Global Travel Planning website, Tracy Collins. Each week, Tracy is joined by expert guests as she takes you on a journey to destinations around the world, sharing travel inspiration, itinerary ideas, and practical tips to help you plan your next adventure. Join us as we explore everywhere from bustling cities to remote landscapes, uncover cultural treasures, and discover the best ways to make your travel dreams a reality.
Hi everybody and welcome to this week's edition of the Global Travel Planning Podcast. I'm joined this week with Doug.
Hello there.
And we are doing the first of 2 episodes about our recent trip to Cape Town.
Yeah.
Now, it was your first time to South Africa, first time to Cape Town, wasn't it?
Yeah, first time to not just Cape Town, but South Africa.
Yeah, so it was a trip that we were very excited to do. Yeah. I'm not sure if you know as listeners, but I did spend part of my childhood growing up in South Africa, so I've been to Cape Town quite a few times as well. But it was lovely to go and introduce Doug to it.
Yeah.
Now, so as I say, this will be the first of 2 episodes. This episode, we're going to talk about our favourite things that we did in Cape Town. So we were there for 3 weeks. We visited in winter, so it has a slightly different kind of slant on it, I guess, because we were there in winter. And the next episode in 2 weeks' time is going to be our things to know if you're planning a visit to Cape Town, actually in winter, because there are stuff that it's useful to kind of have an idea about. I'm also going to share kind of our tips just generally about visiting Cape Town, things that you really should know, especially if you've never been before. That would be really useful. Things that my friends that shared, because I have friends in Cape Town kind of said before we went, and then things based on our experiences. But this episode, I actually want to talk about the things that we did. So we were there for 3 weeks.
In total, yes.
Yeah, which was great. So we flew in from London to Johannesburg and then flew down to Cape Town. So in the same day. So it was overnight flight from London, got into Cape Town, into Johannesburg, a couple of hours in Johannesburg, and then flew down to Cape Town. Yeah. So now before I went, what I had got organised was I'd organised the transfer from the airport in Cape Town to accommodation. So our accommodation was in Greenpoint. And again, that's something I'll talk about in the next episode, about where we stayed in a little bit more detail. So booked the transfer, booked our apartment for 3 weeks. And that was really about it.
Yep.
And that's actually
got the basics right.
I got the basics sorted, didn't I? Yes. So the reason we decided 3 weeks to base ourselves in Cape Town is that we do have to work when we travel, because obviously I've got this podcast, I've got a UK Travel Plan podcast, we've got websites to run, Facebook groups to run, YouTube videos to do, Instagram to do. So there's always lots and lots of things to do. So we do like to base ourselves, kind of, if we can, in one place for a little bit longer. As I said, I had been to Cape Town. I think this was about my 4th visit to Cape Town, but it's 16 years since I was last there.
Wow.
So what we're going to talk about in this episode, hopefully will give you an idea of the things that are worth doing, so that you can kind of think, oh, well, maybe that's something that I want to include in my trip or not. We didn't do everything.
No, didn't, but that was intentional.
Yeah, because we've got plenty of things to do when we go next time. But so this episode, as I say, we're going to talk about the things that we did. And also, I guess, a few things that we didn't do that we kind of people recommended, but we decided not to do. For example, the hop on, hop off bus. But right. I will kind of chat about why we didn't do that as we go through. But I think let's talk about, I guess, some of the places and things that we did do. So we're going to talk about things in Cape Town itself, and then we're also going to talk about a few day trips that we did. We'll mention a couple of places we ate, but there's going to be far more about that in the next episode. Yep. So what should we start with? Should we start with the V&A?
Well, it's a good place, I think.
Okay, so the V&A is the Victoria and Albert Waterfront. It's where you'll find lots of shops, and markets, and it's just got a really good vibe, hasn't it?
It has got a good vibe, yeah.
And it was only about 7-minute walk from where we were staying.
Yep.
So what else would you summarise for the V&A Waterfront, Doug?
Well, there's something there for everyone. We went with a specific idea of things we wanted to get. So there's normal shops, but there's also the touristy shops, and there's entertainments going on there, and
yeah.
There's And there's lots of viewpoints of Table Mountain, I don't know how you describe it, like an oblong like frame, so you can go and stand in front.
Yeah,
of
so they actually framed so that you've got Table Mountain in the background, so you can stand and get those fantastic kind of those. I guess those iconic views, where you've got your standing in front of the Cape Town Table Mountain.
Oh, that's it. Yeah, and there's also waterfront restaurants, and there's. Just a bit of everything, really.
There's some really so they've got a kind of shopping centre, but it's kind of pretty upmarket shopping centre. So lots of like clothes shops, souvenir shops, restaurants, bars. As you say, there's plenty of things to go and have a look around.
That's right.
There's some
also
hotels,
an observation wheel, so I think like a
like
a London Eye type.
Yeah. So we, as I say, we needed to get a little bit of shopping of just regular kind of clothes things that we needed when we got there. So we were able to go and shop for those as well. But there are some good restaurants there as well. So we did eat there quite a few times actually. Much to my friends' horror, we did eat in the Wimpy, but we enjoyed the Wimpy.
Well, that's right, yeah.
Which was really good. It was one of the places I did want to eat when we were back. But so plenty of things to do in the V&A. It's really, I guess, the place that everybody wants to go and have a look around. It's pretty well known. And it's from there, if you go to Robben Island, you take the boat from to Robben Island. That's there. We did pick up a couple of other tours that kind of picked up from that point as well at the V&A. Some very nice hotels and some very expensive hotels as well at the V&A. So I guess most people, when they head to Cape Town, is going to probably stay around that area, certainly visit that area.
That's right.
So I guess the next thing we'll talk about, because everybody's saying definitely going to go down the Victoria and Albert waterfront, is the view that you get of Table Mountain. So everybody wants to go up Table Mountain, don't they?
I think it's iconic. Yeah.
And it was definitely on your list.
Oh, yeah, most definitely.
So now, the thing about Table Mountain is it's quite famous for its tablecloth. So even on a day where you think there's not going to be a tablecloth and you look at the weather forecast and it says it's going to be a beautiful blue sky day, don't necessarily take that as given because what can happen later on in the day is that you can end up with the famous tablecloth of cloud which lays over the top of Table Mountain.
Which has to be seen to be fully appreciated, I think.
Yes. So we had planned to go up Table Mountain, and on our first attempt, we got the Uber there. We arrived at Table Mountain, cableway, checked the weather forecast, got up there, and what happened?
Tablecloth was in place.
And so when we spoke to the people at the cable car, they went, "Do you really want to go up? You're not going to see very much because it's really cloudy." So we went, okay, no worries. Now we booked a ticket and the ticket was valid for a week. So that meant we had some flexibility. Now I will say about Table Mountain, everybody wants to go up Table Mountain and you have got to go when you see the chance. So if you've got that ticket and you've got a week, for example, if you're in Table Mountain for a week and you maybe arrive on the day one and it's a beautiful blue sky and you think, oh, it's all right, I'll go up Table Mountain on day 3 or day 4 or whatever. Yeah. Don't go up it then. Go up at the day that you see that it is clear because there's no guarantees for the rest of the time that you're going to get a clear, especially in winter,
true enough.
that you're going to get a clear run up and it's not going to be cloudy. Also, it's not going to be windy because if it's windy, the cable car's cancelled.
That's right. And then you said in sort of summer months, there's quite a queue as well.
Yeah, in summer months, there can be queues up to 4 hours, I've heard, to get up, which is one of the advantages, and we'll talk about that in the next episode, the advantages of actually visiting in winter. Is that we did not have the queue. Yeah. However, winter is synonymous with kind of more storms, windy weather, rainy weather. We were just exceptionally lucky in that we only had 3 days of rain the entire time. Sure. However, it doesn't mean to say that we didn't have cloud. So that's what I kind of want to say is that if you want to go up Table Mountain, make sure you take the opportunities. So we'd actually gone to we did a food walking tour of actually Bo-Kaap and a cookery class. Yeah. And actually the lady who took the cookery class was kind of going, what are you doing this afternoon? And it was a beautiful, clear day. So we're going to go up Table Mountain. So that's what we did.
Okay, yeah, that's right.
Well, in fact, you suggested it, didn't you?
I did suggest it, yeah.
But so that's what we did. So the day that we actually went, we were initially going to go up Table Mountain. We did find out that on the other side of the mountain, in Kirstenbosch, which are the Botanic Gardens, it was clear blue sky. So that's what we decided to do. So you've got to have a bit of flexibility. I guess that's what I'm saying. Have some flexibility in your plans. Now, we went to Kirstenbosch.
We did.
So I'm going to talk about, I guess, Kirstenbosch is the third place I'm going to talk about. So we've talked about the V&A Waterfront. We've talked about Table Mountain. I will just mention about Table Mountain. You go up like kind of this big round kind of cable car, but it actually turns as you're going up, doesn't it?
It rotates.
It rotates that. So
Slowly.
it rotates so you get a good view of everywhere. So don't worry about where you get in because you are going to kind of rotate round and be able to see.
You get your
have good
opportunity.
views.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then at the top of Table Mountain, there's some walks that you can do. There's a restaurant cafe, so you can go and sit and have a drink, which we did. There's a shop up there. You get fantastic views over Cape Town itself. You can see all the way out to Robben Island.
Yep.
It's really good there. You can also see, I'm probably going to pronounce it wrong because I always say Darcy's, but I think it's Dassies. So these like little creatures
Yeah,
you get up there, which we actually, I've seen some up there in the past in the summer months, but we didn't see any that particular time. We saw some at Simonstown, but not at.
So it's more, let's get that right. Start again. So at the top there, those walkways, the surfaces are really good. The smooth, it's like cinder tracks. And I went for quite a walk around the circuit while you waited near the cafe, didn't you?
I did. Yeah, and I noticed there was kind of wheelchair accessible up there as well.
Right, yeah.
So it's a plan to spend probably about 30 to 40 minutes, maybe an hour up the top of Table Mountain.
Make sure you take a thick jumper with you because it was a bit chilly.
Yeah, especially in winter. It was cold up there. That's true. So I guess that would be what I'd say about Table Mountain as well. Basically, just you see the chance, take it and just go. So if you've got a ticket and it lasts for a week, you've got that flexibility. But honestly, do it sooner rather than later in your trip because you just don't know if and when you're going to get that opportunity. In fact, the last time I went, when I took my daughter 16 years ago, we were only there 3 days, and actually at no point we were able to go up Table Mountain now. I will talk about Kirstenbosch then. So Kirstenbosch is a botanic gardens. So the day that we had planned to go to Table Mountain and the weather wasn't good, we went to Kirstenbosch.
Yeah, we changed the plans and headed there.
So again, we took an Uber to Kirstenbosch and beautiful gardens.
Oh, it's stunning. I absolutely loved it.
So we headed up to see the proteas because that's what I particularly love, proteas. So we went and had a look at the proteas because protea season August when we're there. So a lot
there was sun out as well, and it was just lovely.
It was lovely. I will just say a story though. So we were kind of walking up to the proteas through the gardens, and we were just walking beside this tree, and all of a sudden I heard what I thought was a massive growl and a bark. And probably about 5 meters away from us was this massive male baboon. And I don't like monkeys or baboons at all. They always scare me. I've been bitten before, so I'm always a little bit scared. So I just said, don't make any eye contact, and we backed up. And we ended up standing on kind of like this bricked area with probably about 20 other people, kind of sticking together. The baboon came, he walked through with his mate, and they walked quite close to everybody, maybe a meter or so away, walked past us and then further along on the path.
That's right.
But I think, just don't assume you're not going to see any wildlife because you can. And in fact, we went down because actually our daughter and her partner were in Cape Town at the same time as us. We went to meet them in the cafe and we were talking to the lovely waitress. And she was saying that probably about an hour before, a massive troop of baboons had come in and cleared the whole restaurant. Right. They were sitting eating scones, apparently.
Very civilised.
But I think give yourself a whole day really for Kirstenbosch if you want. I mean, it is lovely, and we did plan to get back, and we didn't. It is quite expensive to go in, so it is worth planning really most of a day there. It's lovely. There's lots to see, lots of beautiful plants to walk around.
We did end up spending the rest of the day there, didn't we?
Yeah, we were there. I mean, probably the rest, a good 4 or 5 hours, I would have said.
Easy, yeah.
So it's really good. And actually, I will just mention, because I know my daughter will be saying, why did you not say anything? But her and her partner walked up to the top of Table Mountain, so you can do that. And they did that from Kirstenbosch through the gardens and that walk. And they said it was actually very manageable. There are, I think, some ladders to climb. So it's not something that I would want to do. But if you're fitter than I am and more interested in doing those sort of walks, they just set out quite early-ish in the morning, maybe 9-ish, I think. And they did the walk. We were going to actually meet them at the top of Table Mountain. They did get to the top. Obviously, we didn't make it up because it was cloudy. And then they actually took the cable car down from the top of Table Mountain. And then they got the Uber back to Kirstenbosch. So they did kind of like a circuit. But she said it was very manageable. In fact, they walked up Lion's Head, Signal Hill.
Yep.
Did all of those walks and said they were very, very manageable.
Yeah, that's right.
Except I wouldn't want to do them. You did, but not for me. But they found them. They really thoroughly enjoyed both of those. So I guess that's V&A we've talked about Table Mountain, we've talked about Kirstenbosch. Next thing I think we'll talk about is Robben Island.
Okay.
So we wanted to do some day trips out and see some things outside of Cape Town. And Robben Island, I guess, is the place that most people want to go to. And it is where Nelson Mandela was incarcerated, I think, for about 18 years. Now, one of the problems with us ever taking a boat is Doug doesn't like boats.
Yeah, I get a bit ill on boats. And when I say a bit, I mean more than a little bit ill on boats. So it was always checking the weather, and it wasn't really guaranteed I was going to be joining you, really, was it?
No, you were sort of like, I'll see. So we did book it. And again, it's quite pricey.
Yeah.
And again, winter, you have got more chance to book these things with shorter kind of lean-to period and lead-in period, should I say,
Yes.
Because it's not as busy. Now, we did, so we basically went down to the waterfront and we got on, there's a gateway to the island there. You get on the ferry. In fact, don't miss the seals, because a lot of the seals are lying out.
It's near the clock tower.
Yeah, near the clock tower, the V&A.
Yeah.
So it's about, would you say it's 45 minutes? About 45 minutes to get over?
I don't know. Seemed about 4.5 hours to me.
Well, I think it's about 45 minutes.
Yeah.
Over to Robben Island. And then you're picked up you get on buses with your tour guide and basically have a tour of the island. Before then going in to have a look around the prison, and you see where Nelson Mandela was imprisoned. And our guide was somebody who was actually imprisoned on the island himself.
Right. Yep.
It was actually very, very good. I think it was. I would absolutely recommend people do it.
I think so. If you embrace history of places you visit,
Yeah, definitely. It was really good. There was a lot of people on that tour. There was a lot of people from all over the world on that tour, actually.
It was,
wasn't it? Very good, yeah.
True. Yeah.
Now, on the way back, you weren't very well.
No, I got a bit sway in a few places, and I was ill on the way back,
So, yes, unfortunate. So, if you are somebody who's susceptible to seasickness, then take the tablets.
I did take a tablet.
Yeah, I know you did, but and you weren't the only person that was sick. No. They do put like a TV screen on with a short kind of introduction to Robben Island. Don't watch that, because I think that was something that people did and it made them feel ill.
Possibly so.
When it was a little bit, and especially it was on the way back. We went, me, Dominique, and her partner. We all went onto the top of the boat, but we realised it was quite kind of swayy. So we thought, oh dear, you're not going to be very well. But yeah, highly recommend it. I would say that was most of a day. Was it? Probably half a day. I think we got the boat about 10 and got back about 3.
Yeah, that
sort of. Sounds about right. So, yeah, give yourself a day for that. Again, if you watch the weather forecast, if you're more susceptible to, not great weather, as I say, because in winter you can get storms.
That's it. But if some months when you've got to choose that day further in advance, I possibly wouldn't have come.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Now, the fourth place I want to talk about, so we've got the V&A, we've talked about Table Mountain, we've talked about Kirstenbosch, we've talked about Robben Island. So now the fifth place actually is Bo-Kaap. Now, Bo-Kaap is the Cape Malay area, part of quarter of Cape Town.
Yep.
It's a beautiful part of Cape Town. It's the houses. In fact, I'm fairly sure if you listen to this, you will have seen photos of this particular area of Cape Town, because all the houses are very brightly coloured.
Yep.
Unfortunately, what seems to be happening is a lot of those have been sold off to millionaire investors from overseas who are setting up Airbnbs and kind of detracting a little bit, I guess, from the area because they're just putting in little hotels and guest houses and things like that. So, unfortunately, there's not much we can do about that.
But we, partaken in a walking tour and cooking class, so we sort of help promote
Yes. Now, if you're going to go and visit Bo-Kaap, what I would absolutely say is to go and do a walk and tour. Now, first of all, you will see loads of people just taking photos at Instagram. So there's loads and loads of people up there. We saw just hordes of people taking photos, which I can understand. It's a very beautiful part of Cape Town. However, it's also a very historic part of Cape Town. There's a history to that area. If you're going to learn about that, the best way to do that is with a tour. Now, what we did is I booked a Bo-Kaap walk and tour and a Malay cookery class. So that it was all with the same lady who did it, Faldella Tolka, who was from Cooking with Love. I will put a link to her her cookery class and her tour in the show notes. Fantastic.
We loved it.
In fact, I booked it for the 4 of us, and we were the only 4 on it. And it was just amazing. It was just so interesting to talk to Faldella because she talked a lot about the history and her background and the background of the area. We met some of the local people who also lived in the area.
When we walked around, everyone knew her.
Absolutely. Everybody said hello. We were invited to one of the homes for a guy that was a sports star, which was amazing. Really lovely, lovely tour and really worth doing. Now, the cookery class. I am not a cook. I don't like cooking at all. I did say that to Faldella, actually, but what a fantastic time.
Oh, we loved it because our daughter, and her partner, they both do the cooking as well.
Yep.
I do cooking. You do not so much cooking. You do now and again.
Occasionally.
So 3 out of the 4 of us, we do regular cooking.
So I'm a non-cook, but I loved it. I absolutely loved it. And actually, Faldella makes it very, very easy. It's broken down into like steps. So we made a Cape Malay curry. We made samosas. What else did we make? We made roti.
Yes.
It was just delicious.
Good fun.
It was really, really good fun. It was in the kitchen of a house which is geared towards it. Everything is purple. Faldella loves purple, so the house is painted purple and the kitchen area is all beautiful purple. But she was really, really good. Now I know in Tanya Monroe in a previous episode, she did this exact same tour with Faldella and loved it. So she actually sent me a message going, "That's what we did," and we absolutely loved it. The food was amazing. It was such a fantastic, wonderful activity.
It was.
So I'd highly, highly, highly recommend it. If you only have 3 days in Cape Town and you're kind of thinking, what am I going to do? Yeah, you want to do Table Mountain, you want to go to the V&A, you probably want to go to Kirstenbosch. You definitely need to go and do a cookery class with Faldella.
Certainly.
100%. It was really, really good. And that took, again, I think we met about 9 in the morning and we finished about 2.
That's right. When we first met up to do the walking tour part of it, it's before the tourists. Obviously, we're tourists as well. But before anybody arrived for the millions of photos around the streets. So we were walking around when there was just locals walking around.
Yeah, it was really, really, really 5-star, absolutely 5-star.
Definitely.
Absolutely do this. If you are going to Cape Town, go and do the cookery class with Faldella because you will not regret it. You're going to absolutely love it.
I have to say as well, for anybody else, the food we all cooked was actually very edible as well.
It was really good. Yes. It was really, really tasty. It was really tasty. I actually need to have another go at making samosas because one thing we did have, and I will begin talking again a little bit more about this in the next episode, where we had some baboti samosas, which, oh my goodness, were the best.
They were lovely, weren't
So
they?
I now need to know how to make baboti. I know how to make baboti, and we now know how to make samosas because Faldella taught us.
Yes.
Now I need to put them 2 together and have some baboti samosas. Oh,
yes.
Nice. Okay, so the next place that we went, so 6 was another day trip, and we went to Cape Point. We went to Boulders Beach to see the penguins. Went around Simonstown.
Yep.
So this was a half-day tour, and I'm glad we did it on a half-day tour. It was a lot of driving, and it was quite fast. But I think it was a good way to see kind of some of the areas outside of Cape Town.
I think so, yeah, that's right.
So as we were driving to Cape Point, you go through a national park, and we did see some animals on the way, didn't we?
We did, yeah, including an ostrich.
We saw an ostrich, we did. We saw lots of baboons. There's baboons everywhere. And also, so it's actually quite a bit of a drive to get through that reserve to Cape Point itself.
That's right.
But that was really good fun. What we did see is we went to Boulders Beach to see the penguins. Bit smelly.
Yeah, a bit smelly.
A bit smelly.
Yeah.
And
they don't have very high levels of personal hygiene, I have to say.
No, they don't, but it is worth going in and seeing
Yeah,
them
it
on the
is.
beach, swimming around, enjoying themselves.
Cute.
You can walk down the boardwalk as well, and you can see lots of penguins. Right, with some had eggs and some had some chicks beside the boardwalk. We did see some dassies there. So that was the one place we did see dassies.
We
Was
did.
actually
They were
at
sunbathing,
Borders
weren't they?
Beach. They were enjoying the sunshine. We stopped off at Muizenberg to look over the beach. So Muizenberg is like this town, South Cape Town itself, and it's got a beautiful beach. And we're watching the shark spotters. They look out for sharks coming there as well. That was really good. And actually, at the end of that day, so there's a half day. So we did the afternoon. The end of that day, I think it started at 1. Got picked up at 1, and we got back so about 6:30. At the end of it, we did the Chapman's Peak Drive.
For the sunset, yeah.
Yeah, and the sunset was lovely, wasn't it?
It was. Very nice.
So that was really good. So I'll put some pictures into that. So that was a tour. So we did that as a half-day tour. We actually did do that drive as well because I've got my closest friend when I went to school lives down in Cape Town, Hout Bay. So we actually spent 4 days with them, and they took us on a driving trip as well. So we did it that way. So now, obviously, you've got options. If you're staying in Cape Town, you could hire a car. Because I say we were lucky enough that my friends drove us around and showed us some of those sites. But you can also do it on a tour. So you don't need a car. And that's what Dominique says as well. My daughter said they didn't have a car at all.
No, they didn't. No.
And they got around really well using Uber or using tours out of Cape Town. So I will link to that half-day tour as well. So that's 3 tours I've talked about now. I've talked about the tour to Robben Island, the Bo-Kaap tour, walking tour and cookery class, and then the third one, which was the half-day tour at Cape Point and Boulders Beach. Yeah.
These are not coach tours. These are
small group tours. Yeah. So yeah, I guess the one to Robben Island was far more people on the boat because obviously a full boat, and a full kind of coach. As going around the island. The Bo-Kaap and Kookarie tour was just the 4 of us. And then when we did the trip to Cape Point and Boulders Beach, how many did we say was on that coach? About 12, 15?
Probably about a dozen, yeah.
Yeah, so there wasn't so many on that one either, so that was really nice. I am going to talk about one more tour that I did, and this one I didn't do with you.
No, because I do not drink alcohol.
Yeah, Doug doesn't like.
She left me working, basically.
Yes, I did, to get on with your YouTube video. So I actually went out on a Winelands day tour from Cape Town because you can't go to Cape Town without wanting to go and try some wine. So myself and my friend Marie, we did a wine tour we had some tastings as well. So we went to one winery and had a cheese pairing and another chocolate pairing, which was lovely. So we went to 4 different wineries. I'm not going to tell you what they were because I'm going to put them in an article so you can read my review of that day. And if you're going to hire a car and do some of these wineries yourself, these will be ones definitely worth including in your tour. But Marie and I had an absolutely fantastic day. In fact, we were picked up and it was just me and her on a tour.
Yeah. Trust me, they had a little bit to drink.
We had an absolutely fabulous day. We really, really did. And as I say, when we went to because actually we got picked up from the apartment, we went downstairs and we were the only one on the tour.
You were, weren't
so
you?
we had a private tour, which was fantastic. So basically on that tour, went to as far as Stellenbosch, went to Paarl, went to Franschhoek. It was really, really good. Really, really enjoyed it. As I say, check out the show notes because I'm going to share some of the photographs from that day. There is, out in Franschhoek, there is a wine tram, and that was one of the things that we didn't do on this trip. And when I was talking to Marie about it, she said you're better off staying in Franschhoek itself if you're going to do the wine tram. There are tours that will take you out to do the wine tram. Yeah. But honestly, I enjoyed the tour that we did. I thought it was absolutely fantastic. And even Marie said a couple of the wineries I went to, she hadn't been to.
Is that right?
Yeah, because there's so many to choose from.
Yeah, there's.
And that was fantastic. Now, some of the other wineries and things that we did, or some of the things that we did actually with Marie and her husband Steve, because we went and stayed with them for a weekend and they had a car. So they took us to places like Babylon Store and Gardens. We actually went to Franschhoek with them on Bastille Day, which was very, very busy.
I got myself a new label.
Yes, Mr. T.
Mr. T.
That's true. You sit and drink your tea.
Yeah, quite partial to a cup of tea.
Yeah, we went to Wildred Gin to have some, because I'm not a massive wine fan, though I did enjoy the wines when I went out that day, but I love gin. And we went out on gin tasting, and that was really cool as
Enjoy that,
well.
yeah.
It was a beautiful setting for that. Really beautiful. So I think really, if I had to describe both of those days out, because we went out the day trip with Steve and Marie, and we went to some of the wineries. It was fantastic to go and have those drives and be able to go and kind of. We also
lucky
did
the
that
weather.
Chapman's Peak Drive, didn't we?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
Babylon Storing was fantastic. Beautiful little shop there with some
right.
fantastic produce.
Yes.
Whereas the day trip that Marie and I did was actually specific to do the wine and then the pairings and try these wineries. So two very different experiences, but absolutely fantastic. Again, it depends if you're going to hire a car and you want to have a bit more freedom to go and explore places outside of Cape Town, or if you prefer to have a structured tour and then get picked up and driven around. I mean, the advantage of that is if everybody wants to enjoy a drink, you can do and not have to worry about driving.
Yeah.
But yeah, absolutely fantastic. Really, really thoroughly enjoyed it. Okay, so the next place that we did go and have a little bit of walk around is Sea Point, which is a little bit further around from where we're staying at Green Point, so a little bit further from the V&A. You could walk it, but probably take about an hour or so, I think.
Yeah, we walked part of it, partly.
We did,
back,
yeah, we did. So then you've got a bit of a promenade along the seafront, and we did actually go mainly because we liked a roof bar that we went to there, which was really lovely to go for sunset, but I had very good food.
That's right.
Well,
yeah,
Hugo's,
yeah.
but I will put a link to that. I will talk a bit more about where, as I say, places to eat on the next trip. I don't think I would head to Sea Point as like a day out or anything. I mean, there's a few little boutique type shops that we did pop into, and we did enjoy that little bit of walk along the seafront.
Yes.
But honestly, I think probably I would stick more to the V&A area.
I think so.
I felt a bit safer in the
Truthfully,
V&A
yes.
area
Yeah.
than I did in Sea Point, to be fair. Now, if you're planning to visit Cape Town, you're thinking about all these things that you could do. Obviously, it depends on how many days that you're there. So we had the flexibility of 3 weeks. So it meant that we could kind of keep an eye on the weather and be some flexibility with what we did. But I think I was going to say, I'm going to put you on the spot a little bit, I guess, Doug. If somebody's going to be in Cape Town for, say, 3 days, that's all they've got.
Yeah.
Or maybe 5 days. Let's stick at 3. What would you say are the things that you would not want to have missed on this trip? What were your favourite 3 things that you did, or things that would fit into 3 days?
It has to be the Table Mountain and the viewpoint at Cape Point. I think those two, and then obviously visiting the V&A and Kirstenbosch. So, yeah, those few things I think are the absolute must.
And yeah, so you would do definitely explore the V&A.
Yep.
You'd go up Table Mountain. So you've got,
Yep.
again, sort of the weather for that. So if you're lucky enough in 3 days to get a day to do that.
Yep.
And you'd do a kind of half-day tour out to Cape Point.
Yeah, if I possibly could, but really the number one for me really would probably be the Bo-Kaap still. I think
You really enjoyed that?
I thoroughly enjoyed that. Yeah,
So yeah, the cookery class. Yeah.
I think so.
Well, one of the other things that we did, which I actually have forgotten to mention, is we went to the Mount Nelson for afternoon tea.
We did indeed.
Now, the Mount Nelson is a very iconic hotel in Cape Town, a beautiful 5-star hotel in Cape Town. Now, I had gone there 25 years ago for afternoon tea, and it's still stuck in my memory as like somewhere. So I actually took my daughter for her 30th birthday. So we took her there to celebrate and had an afternoon tea, and that was rather nice, wasn't it?
Oh, it was so special. It was
Just thinking about
absolutely-
somebody called Mr. T,
Yeah.
because there was a tea sommelier, wasn't there?
Oh, yeah. She was wonderful. So you just choose all your teas and obviously talk to the expert, the sommelier. And there's just such a lot to choose from. So somebody who doesn't drink but does drink lots of tea, couldn't have been more perfect, really.
Yeah, you thoroughly enjoyed it, didn't you?
Yeah.
So I guess that was something else that I was thinking now, if you've got 5 days, you could extend it. So I would say I agree with Doug that Table Mountain is an absolute must. The V&A is an absolute must to go and have an explore around the sea, that kind of waterfront area. I would say Kirstenbosch is beautiful and definitely worth a visit. I also would agree on going to Cape Point, and I would include the Winelands tour that I did as well, and the Bo-Kaap cookery.
I think so. But before I arrived, I'll be checking on the weather forecast because, like the Bo-Kaap, you could do that whatever the weather. You could go to Cape Point, whatever the weather. So in the V&A, you could do whatever the weather. But the Table Mountain
Yeah,
weather
absolutely. Is the one thing you've got to. I mean, Kirstenbosch, ideally, you want a decent day as well, because that's outside.
But it's not the end of the world.
But absolutely, and otherwise, also we should not miss out Robben Island, because it's you know about the history of.
Well, anybody like me needs to be flat to be able to get across there.
Yeah. So
and there's
Robben
other people than me who gets seasick.
I think we've probably filled in a 5 or 6 day trip, and a lot of people I know will go to Cape Town for like maybe 5 to 7 days. In fact, I remember when we were talking to Mum about going, and we were saying we were going to spend 3 weeks, and she thought it was too much.
She thought it was excessive,
but I don't think it is.
No, I don't think so.
I think, and in fact, talking to Dominique as well, she's like, no, easily spend much longer there. I think next time we probably will.
But you also being winter as well, you need that bit more flexibility. So.
Yeah, absolutely, for sure. Now, hopefully that's given you some inspiration to visit Cape Town. Now, I will say, if you are living in the UK, the flight from the UK down to Cape Town is like 10 hours, 11 hours.
Single flight.
Easy peasy. Flight from Australia, and we've just done this because we've just flown back to Perth from Johannesburg, is less than 9 hours. And it took us, I think it's technically 9.5, 10 hours, but we cut off an hour. So we came in earlier. So if you can fly, I'm not sure about direct flights from Cape Town. I think Cape Town to Melbourne, maybe Cape Town to Sydney, there's flights. But we just flew up to Johannesburg because we went, spent a week in a game reserve, which I'm going to talk about. We'll be talking about that in next month. We're going to do a couple of episodes about that. And then we flew from Johannesburg to Perth. So really easy, really doable.
Very, very easy.
You know, in fact, for myself, it kind of blew my mind a bit that actually getting from South Africa to Australia was so easy. So quick. So hopefully my friends will come and visit. So really encourage you to do it. We will talk in the next episode a little bit more about if you're planning to visit Cape Town in winter, because there are some considerations. Right. There's some advantages and there's some disadvantages. So just things to consider. Now, in the show notes for this episode, which will be at globaltravelplanning.com/episode 102, I will share links to the 4 tours that we did. I will also link to any of the places that we mentioned in there as well, and I'll add photographs from our trip. And hopefully we're going to get some videos together as well.
That's right, yep.
Because we took lots of videos, took lots of photos, and also I'm going to be adding a lot more articles to the website as well, all about planning a trip to Cape Town. So I guess that leaves us until next week, because we're going to be talking a little bit more about the things you need to know if you're planning a trip to Cape Town in winter. But until that time, that just leaves myself and Doug to say
happy global travel planning.
Thank you for joining us on this episode of the Global Travel Planning Podcast. For more details and links to everything we discussed today, check out the show notes at globaltravelplanning.com. Remember, if you enjoyed the show, please consider leaving us a review on your favourite podcast app, because your feedback helps us reach more travel enthusiasts just like you. Anyway, that leaves me to say, as always, happy global travel planning.